My name's Alika Tengan, and I'm the director of Moloka'i Bound.
Okay. So after watching the movie, the first question that came into my mind is, do you think that people deserve second chances?
I do, yeah. I've seen firsthand the ability for people to change. I don't think it's fair to judge people for their worst moments in their lives, and I think that's what happens in society, the way we view convicts and ex-convicts. But the actor that plays the parole officer in the film is also on parole himself for crimes that he was a part of when he was younger. But I think the economic environment that he was in at the time forced him to make decisions for himself and to provide for himself and his family, and he's paid the price for those decisions. And on the other side of it, I believe he's truly a changed man. So I do believe people should be given second chances.
But did you do some research into people who get parole? Usually what happens to them? Do they get back to prison or they survive, let's say?
Yes, well, part of it was talking to that actor. His name is Hale. He said the first couple of weeks out are the most dangerous, or that you're at the highest risk for recidivism, essentially, which is also kind of the time frame that our film takes place in those first couple of weeks, because when you become accustomed to a prison environment and having everyone having your whole schedule sort of laid out for you and your whole day planned, and you know exactly what you're doing every day, so to go back out into society, I think it can be overwhelming for people sometimes, and sometimes they fall back on bad habits if they don't have a good sort of support system in place. So.
Okay. And tell me a bit how the inspiration behind the story. How did you come up with this whole story?
Yes. So it was originally a short film that we shot with the same lead actor, Holden Santos, who I was living with at the time, and we grew up in the same community on the island of Oahu on the east side. So we, saw a lot of these types of stories happening around us, and I feel a lot of empathy for people that go through these kinds of situations. So we wanted to tell a story that can sort of humanize them and allow people to understand a bit into their realities.
And to go a bit further back in time, so 2 films before you won an award in Sundance. You screened in Sundance.
Yes.
Screened in Sundance, yeah. So did that open some doors, would you say?
Yes. Well, so the Moloka'i Bound short film won an award at Imaginative Film Festival in Toronto, and that led to us being nominated or in consideration for the Oscar short films. And off the back of that, I began to develop the feature script for Moloka'i Bound, and and then the pandemic happened, so that project got put on hold, and me and my cinematographer Chapin Hall developed another film called Every Day in Kaimuki, and in the middle of the pandemic, and that got into Sundance. And then we reconvened on the Moloka'i Bound feature film and shot that 2 years ago.
Okay. So how did the funding for this film work?
So this one was a bit different in that I submitted my screenplay for Moloka'i Bound to a contest that Google and array pictures we're having to fund film. They put out a grant to fund films from underrepresented communities, and we were fortunate enough to win that competition and get a very healthy amount of funding to make this film.
Okay. And how did the casting work? Particularly, how did you find this protagonist? It's really great.
Thank you. Yeah. Most of them are people that I've known growing up in this place in Kaneohe, and because it's such a specific story to Kaneohe and the people of Hawaii, I really wanted it to feel as authentic as possible. And so even more than acting experience, I was just looking for people who had that essence. And I just felt who are also capable of being themselves even when being on film, because obviously not everyone that you meet on the street is capable of acting, but sometimes you get that perfect balance of a self-assuredness, but also a propensity to perform on screen, and that's what we found with a lot of these actors, and especially the younger actor Jonathan, who plays Jonathan the son. It was his first time acting in a film, and I thought he did a wonderful job.
And you chose to have him almost in every scene, as far as I see. Why is that?
The son?
The protagonist.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to be on his journey. I wanted the film to be in his shoes as much as possible. So.
Was it difficult for him or easier that way, would you say?
It was. I think we've done we've done 3 films together prior to this, but this was the first time where he was the lead of a feature-length film. We'd only done short films together, so it's a tremendous burden, I think, to be the lead actor and to be in every single scene. It's a lot of dialogue to remember every single day, but he really fulfilled, what we hoped from him, and even more so. So I'm very proud of him.
And did you allow improvisation, or were you very strict with him and the rest of the cast?
Definitely, I wanted it to feel loose, but it's mostly written just because there's so many plot elements set up in the speeches and the dialogue, but there's definitely improv here or there where it felt helpful.
And in general, what was the most difficult scene to shoot, would you say?
Well, there's a sequence when they go to a strip club, and it was hard just to find a strip club that was open to having us film there for a reasonable price. A lot of them charged very high prices. And then even when we found the place, we could only start filming at like 2 a.m. after they were done with their shifts. So we had a lot of stuff to film. I mean, we got to set at midnight, and then we actually had to film the fight scene at night, so we choreographed the fight scene, we shot the fight scene, and then we had to film them arriving at the club, all of those things before the sun came up, and then once the sun came up, we moved inside for a sort of elaborate one take shot. So that was quite a night.
Do you have a favorite scene? Or is that the one? I don't think so.
I mean, for me, a scene I enjoy a lot is when they finally get to the island of Moloka'i, and they they're getting a ride to a character's house, and we're just kind of living with these characters in this moment, living in that atmosphere that they're absorbing, and that along with the music, I'm really grateful to our composer, Roger Schwinn. It's a score that I was really hoping for a classical score that could elevate the film, and he really delivered there and in that scene.
Mm-hmm. And regarding cinematography, what you wanted to do in the visuals of the film, let's say?
Yeah, this is me and the cinematographer Chapin Hall's third film together, and so we've developed a rapport, I think, and a second hand sort of language for. We're at this point we're kind of seeing the same things. Usually, there was a lot of pre-visualization and watching films to kind of get references. Place Beyond the Pines is a film that we watched a lot. Moonlight, films like that. So we just we did our research and put them into the.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, and regarding editing, how that work for the thing?
This is my third collaboration with the editor, Kali Kasashima.
You use the same associates,
yes,
don't you?
I do love to. Yeah, I feel grateful for the team that we've built over the years, and the editor, Kali. We went to the same film school in Hawaii. So yeah, I was at his house every day, and it was. The film is made 3 times, right? Once in the writing, once in the shooting, and once in the editing, and so we spent many exhaustive nights together. But we're really happy with how it.
Mm-hmm. And in general, how is the film scene in Hawaii? The industry, let's say, how is it there shooting films in Hawaii?
Yeah, it's a exciting time, I think, in the local film scene and the indie scene. I think. There's been a lot of talent bubbling on the surface for the past couple of years, and the film school that I went to, the Academy for Creative Media at the University of Hawaii, has become one of the most majored in programs in the school now. So I think we'll only start to see more and more exciting films come out of Hawaii at this time. There's already a ton of talented local writers and directors, native Hawaiian writers and directors, so it's an exciting time.
Mm-hmm. And what about the festival there? How is it? I don't know, the film screen there, right? Or
yes, the Hawaii International Film Festival, yes. We had our Hawaii premiere there in October, and it was great. It's the local turnout really blew us away for our film, and we're grateful for the reception, and I've learned so much as a filmmaker just attending the festival since I was a student, because Anderson Lay, the director, has great taste, so I've
He also picked your movie, right?
He did. So I'm grateful for that.
And are there plans for distribution?
At the moment, we're planning to return to Japan, actually, Japanese theaters, with distribution, hopefully within the next year or so. Mm-hmm. So we'll continue to tour it in the States.
Uh-huh. And usually Hawaiian films are distributed in the mainland, in the US, or?
Sometimes. I mean, it just depends. Our last film, Every Day in Kaimuki, we got picked up by Gravitas Ventures, it's quite it's an interesting, film landscape to navigate for everyone in the industry, I think.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. And last question, I guess, future projects, any new movies coming up?
At the moment, I got hired by a producer from Los Angeles named Julie Fong, who hired me to write a local basketball story about it's based on a true story of a Division III college team named Chaminade, very, very small school, who in 1982 beat Virginia, who was ranked #1 at the time. So it's still one of the biggest upsets in college sports. And yeah, she reached out to me, and I fell in love with the story. So we're working on a script.
You have a background in basketball?
I just love basketball. I mean, I grew up playing it. Yeah, big fan of Giannis Antetokounmpo. I've seen him play live. He's even taller than I expected. But yeah.
Okay, good. I guess that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.